Awesome. On the phone today, we have Justin and Kyle that both work at Assurance Media. And they both went, I'll let them do a quick introduction of guys, where you went to school, what your process was to get to Assurance, whether you were co-op somewhere else and then wound up there or found them, however, but where you went to school, how long you've been out, kind of general educational backgrounds, if you will, please. Thank you.
Yeah, my name's Justin Mendick. I started this journey at Hodson Votech in 2001. The cool thing about this this video so far, this conference, is I was Alan McMillan, his first graduating class when he first started, and then I'm very humbled by this opportunity, definitely to give back to a program that's been so good to me. And I just want to say that I swear by the vocational schools, and it's just been my everyday life since I graduated from that school to give back. And knowing what I know now, it's just a great opportunity for these kids to get into this these trades that are so promising.
Awesome. Kyle,
I'm sorry. I've been with Assurance Media for 17 years now. I'm a project manager, and I'm also a recruitment and development officer, which I get the opportunity to work with Mr. Moxley himself, and it's been very good.
Great, Kyle. When did you graduate from Del Castle?
My name's Kyle Gardner. I graduated in 2014. I went through the electrical trades there as well. I've been in the industry now for 6 years. I didn't actually start here. I was at a co-oping for another security company when I was in high school. And I mean, I'm same thing. I swear by the vocational programs and whatnot. I think it's very important, especially for the upcoming generation.
Awesome. So we're talking to the electrical trade, right? That's who we're talking to. Yeah. Make sure we're in the right room. Can you guys talk about, I know it's been a little bit of time, Justin, but why you chose the trade you did, and like, what are your favorite things about being in the electrical field, as well as your least favorite things?
Honestly, I don't have any. I'll start with the least favorite. I don't really have any. I look at every job as an opportunity, and I try to develop myself and grow in every single day that I'm installing and or project managing, so to speak. But like I said, the trade's been very good to me. I'm more on the low voltage side of the electrical, not necessarily in the electrical field, but everything has a wire, and I'm on the other side of it. But like I have a passion for what I do. It's very important that we do a job every day and we do it right.
So Justin, could you speak a little bit about the breadth of what Assurance Media does? I think it's important for people to know that in every trade, there's lots of different ways to exercise that trade and lots of different kinds of employers. And Assurance Media is one of those that does lots of different things, all pretty much in that low voltage environment, but are really in high demand. So could you explain the kind of breadth of service that you guys do?
Yeah, we can end up at a Christiana hospital environment, so to speak, where we're running phone and data work. We could be in a classroom at a local vocational school here installing whiteboards. We could be putting in access points, access control as far as badge readers on doors, and then we can end up at a prison installing security cameras. So we get around and we touch a lot of different things. There's a lot of different moving parts and disciplines in our organization, but we pretty much do it all. Anything with a low voltage wire, we're involved.
Yeah, the piece that always jumps out to me about what Assurance Media does is like the high end, like AV conference room equipment, which is, a very high finish, high tech situation that I don't think people associate with a low voltage trade. So I think it's interesting to know that companies around here do a lot of different things under one roof. Kyle, can you talk about any other certifications or night school or apprenticeship programs or anything that you have gone through or that you think you might need to now that you've got a couple years under your belt?
So I started with the electrical trades, but I did the continuing education for the night school. So I did those 3 years following up from electrical trades. And then as far as certifications, Assurance Media, we have all types of different trainings that we'll do in-house, and just to kind of get us up on speed with changing technology and different things that are constantly evolving.
So for the night school that you did you do that while you were working? And was that, I know that's how it's set up to work, to be.
Yeah, I was still working when I was doing that.
all right, let's talk about like a common day, because we've got 10th graders in this room, right? Yeah. So they haven't even really explored co-ops yet. And this whole working field is probably the only thing they see is what they see at home, and everyone's got different jobs. So could you talk about what your day looks like, both of you? I bet you both have different days. Like, what time do you start? What kind of things are you doing during the day? Do they change on the dime? Do you get to choose your own work? Is it assigned to you? You know, like, what does an average day or week look like?
For me,
Justin.
my average day looks like I wake up at 5:30 every morning, even though I have to be on my shift at 7, because it's unacceptable to be late, in my opinion. But I start planning my day at 5:30 every morning, so I have a basic understanding of what I got to do and what tasks I must complete by 6 o'clock. So I'm planning my day. I'm basically calculating my steps. I gotta come up with a game plan of how my crew is going to operate, so I can end up on a job site in Wilmington, and I could be as far as Georgetown by the end of the day, servicing clients. Whatever the customer needs, we're there.
So are you, Justin, responding to like service calls or emergencies, or do you know kind of a week in advance where you're going to be every day, or which projects you're working on?
Well, my position is a little bit different than the average person. Our technicians, they do know where they're going beforehand. Me, I got to check up on multiple jobs, so I can be as far as anywhere. I could be on a bridge at Delaware Memorial Bridge, working on a bridge, or I could be on an antenna tower in Selbyville. It all depends on what task is given and where they need me for that day. So I try to make myself flexible, but our technicians do know where they're going in advance. That is correct.
So what does break time, lunchtime, end of the day, what's that schedule look like?
It's usually between 12 and 12:30. We take a break. Me personally, I can't remember the last time I took a break because I'm so involved and engaged in what I do, and it really is not a break for me. But everybody else usually like I said, between 12 and 12:30, they take a break.
Kyle, what's your day look like?
So a typical day for me, so just like he said, so I'm more of I'm on the security side here, and my day is a little more laid out than his is. So I have all my jobs. I usually know within like the week where I'm going to be going. So I have like all my jobs that I get, and then like I said, so I start at 7 a.m. We'll get in, and then whatever that job is for the day, we'll have to get our material and stuff like that, and then get out to site, and then get moving, get started. Whatever, if we run into any issues or anything like that, we got to resolve that. And then it's the same thing. We usually break for around lunch around 12, 12:30, and then the day's usually over around 3.
So without naming like customer sites, tomorrow, will you be at the same retail facility all day, or do you know that you've got to go to a construction site, and then you're going to go to a mall, and then you're going to go to a school? Like, what does tomorrow look like for you? Can you talk about that, Kyle?
So tomorrow, I mean, I can say I'm working at a state service center. We're just installing some cameras there, but so it's scheduled for both days. But I mean, there's a possibility we might be able to finish up early, so that could change things a little bit. But if that's the case, then we'll talk with our scheduler and see what other jobs and stuff we have open, and we can get back to.
Awesome. Kyle, what do you see for your future, like in the next couple of years, since you're a little bit younger, more junior in the trade?
I see myself to still be continuing in the role I am, and then hopefully in the upcoming years be able to move more in a management position, and then just kind of keep learning and working on my certifications and stuff like that.
I think I always really want to point out that almost all these companies, you're going to hear people say the same kinds of things, that there is room for growth, and there is a management track, and there is a career path. And some people wind up managing people. Some people wind up taking more classes and going into the office and working in accounting or project managing or design. The other thing that I also think is that you should keep in the back of your mind as you think about your future is that not everybody needs to be a manager. Not everybody needs to be head of the company. There is certainly room for that. And I know in our company, I'm sure in assurance over the years that people have been there for a couple of years and then they go out and they start their own business, also so totally fine. There's also some people that are like, all I want to do is this. Like, I don't want to go on the management track. And that's also fine. There's literally room for everyone. Justin, what do you think I'm sure you've seen some things where your coworkers have done, not made mistakes, but done dumb things in terms of employability and wound up getting themselves let go or disciplined for really not low voltage related things, just the other employability issues. Can you talk a little bit about maybe some dumb things you've seen people do that's cost them their jobs or a promotion?
Yeah, see, the dumbest thing that I really see, not a lot of people lose their jobs here at Assurance Media. So I'm not real familiar with that process, but the thing that I see mostly is these phones, the communication devices that have nothing to do with the work that we're doing, and the social media, and just being on your phone. It can potentially, excuse me, cause safety issues and stuff like that. But it's just the phone, the disciplinary of the phone. Not at the appropriate times, not using them at the times like a lunch break when you're supposed to use them and stuff like that. But other than that, nothing too crazy.
So if you could give advice to these students that aren't even yet at co-op, right? They haven't really even been inside of a workplace. What is one of the best pieces of advice that you would give them really just starting out?
Just learn as much as you can. Respect everybody. If you're going to do a job, do it right. You know what I mean? Or don't do it at all. That's all I would say. That would be my message. And the most important thing is respect everybody.
It sounds like you've seen that go wrong when someone doesn't. Like, I feel like an edge in your voice about that.
Yeah, because Delaware is very small, and we get a lot of work based off our personal relationships that we have with customers, and you never know when you're going to bump into that customer again. He could be the one that closes the bridge, and you don't want to burn no bridges in this industry. Very important.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Kyle, how about you? What kind of advice would you give to these 10th graders right now?
I would definitely just say to just keep learning and just always be open. When anybody tells you anything, just be open to taking that information. And even if you heard it being a different way, still be open to hearing what the other person has to say and just using it to advance your knowledge and whatnot.
I wanted to just kind of add a piece on about the employability, because these guys just gave you some really really basic real world experiences. And I know that in 10th grade, it's like even driving a car is a big deal. And you can't even imagine what it's like to get a job and to be where these guys are. I mean, Justin's 17 years in with one company, and Kyle's got a really lovely career ahead of him after 6 years with this company. But it is really, really basic. And I think it can boil down to really just a handful of things. First of all, both of these guys and all their employees have to pass a drug test and a background check on a routine basis. So it's obviously with pre-employment. And if there's an accident in a vehicle or an accident on the job, there's also a drug test there. But a lot of companies now, in order to drive a truck, let alone do this high level stuff that they're doing, onto sites that you pass every day, like JP Morgan, DuPont, AstraZeneca, and that's not existing anymore, but they make the employer write a letter that states Justin Mendick had a drug test on this date and Justin Mendick had a background check on this date. And both of those tests were compliant with your rules and my rules. We don't provide the test, but we provide written verification on the letterhead. Generally, those dates, the drug test and the background check, they can't be 17 years ago when Justin started. They have to be within 30 or 60, sometimes 90 days. So that is a really big deal. The drug test and the background check matter now. And a long time ago, it didn't really matter. And what you did on your personal life and what kind of trouble you had gotten in when you were, 15, 18, didn't matter when you're 30, but it now does. Well, I guess it's after that minor age changes, but all these little details matter. And I will tell you, the most important thing about getting that job or passing that first interview is looking someone in the eye having your shirt tail tucked in. And I don't mean that literally, although I actually mean it literally, but being dressed appropriately. And even if it's not a brand new shirt or a brand new suit, the fact that you have tucked your shirt in and have a belt on in the right direction and are wearing something that's appropriate and that you did your very best to show up with the very best version of you that day matters. Even if you're coming to a job interview and you're coming right off of a job site and you don't actually have time to change, but you straightened up and you maybe changed the sweatshirt and you acknowledge, I'm really sorry that I'm not dressed for this, but I just came off the job site. Got it. Perfect. Be able to look your future employer in the eye, and like eye contact is like looking up at them, not looking down at them all the time and then just looking up and then looking down, because the bottom of your head is the top of your head. We see everybody's top of their head because they always look down. The person's eyes that I can see is generally the one that I'm going to hire because they're confident enough to stare at me, even if they are scared to death. They have no idea what they're going to say. They don't know what the answer to the question is. They don't think they're the best person in their trade. None of that matters. If you have your shirt tail tucked in, you showed up on time, and you can look the person in the eye, you will get the job and you will keep the job. Before COVID, I gave this same speech, and that was it sounds so basic and no one really believed me. But now after COVID, with people being out of work and so much change has gone on, the construction industry never went home. We never went virtual. We never stopped working. Every single one of us worked since March 13th on the road, in the trucks, in the office, accounting department, project managers, field people, everyone worked. Field people went into nursing homes to fix their electrical systems. Field people went into nursing homes and hospitals where there was the highest rate of contagion to go fix things. We weren't doing massive upgrades, but we were providing emergency service. We were fixing things. We were doing all these jobs that these guys do at Assurance and in my company across the entire construction industry. We never went home. We were considered one of the essential personnel. We were still in harm's way, but we always had a job. And I can't even imagine what all of you guys that are listening could talk about, stories that you've seen with your families, your neighbors, your extended family all across the country. COVID changed everything, but it didn't change much for us except to reassure that this is a permanent field with a good, stable job. So I really want to drive that home. And all you need to do is show up on time, do what you're told. I love Justin saying to respect everybody because you never know who anybody is. I one time, I'll tell this story that I took, I'm obviously a female, you can't see, but I'm a very short female, and I work in a male industry. And I took a whole bunch of a maintenance department out from a large medical institution and bought them hamburgers and French fries. I didn't even speak to half of them. Like, no one wanted to talk to me. I spoke to the head facility guy. I had the whole department out with me, but I made sure to say hi and look everyone in the eye. And don't you know that one of those guys a year later was running a major facility in the state of Delaware? And guess what? He remembered that I took him out and nobody else had taken them out. And he wound up being the gatekeeper for another huge facility. And who would have known? None of those guys would even look me in the eye. They wouldn't even talk to me. But Delaware and this tri-state area is very, very small. So I say that with the best of intentions and the worst of intentions. If you get mad and storm out and don't leave on a good circumstance, people will ask around and people always know, hey, how about this person? Well, there's always someone else that handled that situation with a little bit more dignity and grace and say, that person stormed out and got on their social media and just tore us up. Forget about it. We'll go with a less skilled person rather than the person that's a high drama and can't control like their emotions. So all those soft skills, they really, really, really matter. We will teach you everything you need to know about the trade when you come out of it. We're up against time here. So Justin and Kyle, do you guys have anything else that you wish someone would have told you when you were in their shoes, or that I didn't really get out of you? Or does anyone else on the call want to ask these guys stuff? I know that they're very, maybe you'd like to talk about the success that you've had, Justin or Kyle, or the future of your, the money that you can earn without talking about dollars, the success that you can have, the stability that you have. I'm not asking you to talk about how much money you make, but can you expound on what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. I want to say this too before while I'm still on the time here. I want to say thank you to Alan McMillan, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I am today. And the lessons that he gave me early in my life, I didn't recognize it at the time, but as you get older, you start to understand that everything was a lesson. When I even played sports at Hodson, everything is a lesson. And then if you take them lessons with you, you'll get to where you're going. And I just want to thank him for being a part of my success.
I definitely agree with what Justin has to say. Definitely, always be like I said, always be open to learning new stuff, and always keep trying to move forward. And so, like I tell a lot of guys, is like you might get in this industry, and there might be something like you're not good at, but there's always different little niches and stuff that you can get in to try to set yourself aside and to put you in a different position that might work out better for yourself. Now I'm 20, I'm going on 25 years old. I've already bought my house doing it within this career. And I have cars. I have now 2 children. So it can definitely be very beneficial if you take it seriously and just keep, like I said, just keep working along.
As far as me, I have a 12th grade education. I've stopped at the Hodson level, continued education in the industry with all standards, and I'm a Bixby technician. I believe, over 50 some certifications. But yeah, I also have a stay-at-home wife, the latest and greatest everything, 3 kids, and we don't struggle. And I did not go to college. I live a great life, and I'm very humbled by the opportunity that I've received through the vocational program and everything else. And I pretty much, I'm living pretty good. But I also take into consideration that, and I apply this to myself, that, if you're going to do a job, and I said this before, do it right. And that's what separates me from everybody else. I don't cut corners, and I treat everybody with respect, and I'm always on time.
I think that's a great place to end it, unless anyone else has questions. Teachers, Colleen, anyone out there? Sorry to take up so much of your time. I know you guys your time is
Yeah, I'd
limited.
just like to thank these 2 guys for coming on board today and taking time out of their day. Their perspective is so valuable, and I appreciate you and the gratitude that you showed to the district and to Mr. McMillan, because some days it feels like you are trying to hammer all these things home, and you sound like a broken record to the kids. And when you get to see and witness your success and how fortunate you've been and the gratitude, it's a wonderful thing. And it makes all of us, after a real hard year, really grateful for the opportunities that we have to help these kids move forward. So thank you so much for your invaluable, advice and perspective. We really appreciate it. And thanks, Elise, for pulling this together. And Chris, you too, for coordinating all this. It's been a great experience.
That's been great. I just want to say thank you to Justin and Kyle as well. Justin, we'll be in touch here soon. I'd love to, I know I owe you a follow-up down the road here, but I'd love to get you guys back in the building, hopefully sooner than later. Get you in front of these students. What a phenomenal way to show these 10th graders that, with a little bit of hard work and doing things the right way, you can certainly provide for yourself and for your family for a long, long time and have a great career. So I just want to say thank you to both you guys, and thank you for Alicia for stepping up as well.
Thank
Thank you very much.
All right.
Justin, I'd like to say thank you as well for the kind words. And it's been a pleasure to teach you when you were here. And it's been a fantastic journey to watch you mature in the field and all the different jobs you've done. And over the years, you truly are a fan of VOTEC because you come back on a regular basis. You're one of the few that come back and say thank you and tell the kids what a great journey it's been. So I appreciate that. So thank you.
We're good.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Have a good one, everyone.